How's it going, Second North? This is Cal Richard Kinman. I hope you guys are all doing all right during this time still, being away from everything in our Johnson community. As we get into this week, sorry I'm a day behind with the Devos, but this is the Holy Week, the week before Easter, and I'm sure some of you guys are worried and everything and about not being able to go to a physical service, and probably a lot of stress and anxiety coming and building up with that, because I remember even growing up, Easter was always one of my favorite services at church, mainly because at my home church there is a big old potluck. Everybody brings their own breakfast brunch item, and it's super, super yummy. And when you're a kid, you're like, it's still to this day, I'm not going to lie, food is what I live for, and food is really, really good. But then you learn more about why this week is called Holy Week, and then coming to Johnson, learning about all this sacrifice and that the time of Lent beforehand, and getting into this season of why we're doing it. And it gives us more of a sense of hope, At least for me, this year for Lent, I did this diet thing that was horrible. And I know a lot of people do diet things, and it was really, really difficult at times, but you have this sense of hope at the end of this time, as we see during this time in Easter, and it's really easy to lose sight of that, especially right now during these circumstances. So going off track from Acts a little bit, I wanted to read from Luke chapter 22, talking about the moments right before Judas went behind Jesus' back and set a path for the Pharisees and the Sadducees to capture Jesus and to put him on trial and kill him. And he knew at this point, and he finally is where we're going to go through him is the Last Supper. And so I'm going to read you a few verses. Verse 15 says, "I have looked forward to this hour with deep longing, anxious to eat this Passover meal with you before my suffering begins. For I tell you now that I won't eat it again until it comes for the fulfillment in the kingdom of God." He took a cup of wine, and when he had given thanks for it, he said, "Take this, share it amongst yourself, for I will not drink wine again until the kingdom of God has come." The word of the Lord. And what I want to encourage you with this passage, even though still in this time that it kind of stinks that we're away and might not be able to go to physical church, is that Holy Week is still holy. Just because we can't go to a physical church, as we see in this, Jesus is just with his disciples having a meal. So maybe it's celebrating this Holy Week, and the end of Lent is coming to an end soon, within, I believe, a day or two. Whatever that may be, getting into Good Friday and celebrating Easter, I encourage you to get into this gospel and look into this time as Jesus was coming to his death, and obviously his resurrection on Sunday. And just remember that this is a season of hope. And this was the time Jesus came back. Yeah, Chief is funny. But Jesus came back, and he was a sense of hope for people who needed hope during this time. So keep that in your prayers and remember that throughout this week, this upcoming time.